So, happy Spring Festival, Expat. Say, kind of auspicious thing to say. A lot of Gong Xin Ni Fa Chai is kind of like the saying, which is kind of more like may you have a prosperous year, something along that line. But I tend to say Chanjikwala, which is like happy Spring Festival. And everything's closed down, you know, everything's stopped. It's kind of annoying. In one aspect, because like, you know, you order stuff on Taobao, you know, or you have to return stuff. I have to return an item on Taobao, and apparently you know, they're all mom and pop stores, so they all take like a week ahead of everything closed down a week before. Like today's Friday the 24th, and this is kind of like the official holiday from or the official festival from Friday to Sunday. But a lot of people, you know, they just take the whole week off, the week before it off, and part of that's because there's travel involved, and it all just becomes one big, you know, traffic jam. So people, but you know, it's just not very. So, you know, so I have an item I'm supposed to send back, and I can't send it back because all the mail places closed down, or the person, you know, who has my item, they've gone away for the next 2 weeks. So it's just really kind of frustrating to have that kind of, you know, have to deal with that kind of unreliability in services. But anyway, I'm walking out here. Decided to walk down past the other side and maybe walk over to the other side of the mountain here in Xinjiang. It's kind of we're kind of the boonies, you know. I'm out in the boonies as it is, and this is even further out in the boonies, and it's kind of funny because like you can live a mile up the road in China and be considered savage, you know, you're from another part of the world or something. You know, certainly amongst Chinese people, you live down the road a bit from an entirely different world, entirely different community. Everything's different, so it's kind of funny. So I decided to go out here. One of the things you see, this is kind of weird because, and this happens a lot in China, you'll have these big, you know, big highways, and they just kind of dead end into nothing. Like I'll show you when I get up there. But this road just kind of, it ends at a single lane kind of dirt road that goes around the rest of the mountain. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to head into today. This over here is the just this massive ZTO, I guess, distribution center. Probably for, I don't know how much region or the area they're going to be kind of covering, but this thing is massive. It's like a city up there. They've been building this. ZTO is a delivery service. You know, they're all going through a big boom right now because of Taobao and online services. And this is one of the courier services connected to that, but not directly connected. But this thing is, that's the size of the city up there, you know. You don't see a lot of industrial complexes that big. All right, so I'm going to check off here. I'm heading around the corner. I got a couple kilometers before I get to the end of this road, and then I guess there's a temple back there somewhere I'm going to check out. That's in a bit. So like here's basically the end of the road. You got one temple up here, Gushan Temple. Shuan temple. And then see, it just kind of goes straight on ahead into this sort of dirt road. It's kind of 4 lanes. Just kind of go into this one dirt road. And that's where we're heading. We're heading to this Puzao temple. 3 kilometers to go. It's like one of those little garden gnome temples in there. I used to be, like when I first got to China, these places were like day-long photo shoots. Nowadays I see them too much. Talk a little bit about the virus here. Fujian is pretty far from Wuhan, but I'm starting to see they're taking precautions here and there. People wearing a mask, bus drivers, public officials starting to wear masks. Some notices here and there. So they are taking some precautions, but that being said, the hygiene standards in China at this point, they're along the lines of kind of industrial evolution Europe, They're just, those wet markets are just festering holes of germs and things. You can go in there and you just have 30, 40 stalls of butchered meat. Basically one stall will butcher a pig, and everything will be laid out on that table in front of everything. Every part of that pig will be out there. The eyes and the face would be peeled off, and the head and the tail and everything is on that table. All the innards all separated and laid out there, and it'll sit there all day, There's a thing in Chinese culture about fresh meat, and for whatever reason they believe that buying that meat fresh is better, more healthy for you. It has more, I guess, energy into it or something like that, rather than buy anything frozen or refrigerated. I don't know. It doesn't. It's just bad. It's really bad. It's horrendous hygiene. You can see how any sort of thing any sort of disease or virus will outbreak in those kinds of situations. It's a tinderbox. It's a tinderbox. So the hygiene is, or you might say it's like Depression era America, like where there's not a lot of refrigeration and everything is, still pretty from right off the farm, not much processing going through with it. So something they should probably sort of try and. But the difficult part is, that so much of the economy, so much of these mom and pop economies are sort of based in that sort of lifestyle, that I don't know how they would transition out of it. I haven't really come up with answers for it. Or it's too time consuming, or it's too costly for them to make those transitions. And they're also trying, every day they're trying to get ahead, not have to break everything down and redo everything. So they're also going up against that. I'm told is that they have an actual Velociraptor here, an actual living Velociraptor still. It might be back in one of these shacks back here. I'm not sure. But I'm going to try and get a picture of it. But I'm told they have an actual living Velociraptor still here in these woods here. I'm going to try and get a picture of it. As far as the contract, you know, I didn't really kind of plan on staying here another year. I did kind of want to see what how the school wanted, or so I gave them a number, and I didn't really want to change the conditions of my contract, and I didn't really think they wanted me to stick around that much, so you know, I just kind of gave them a number, and that would kind of make me more comfortable staying, and they agreed to it, so I decided to sign on for another year here. That being said, you know, I've been here 10 years, and one of the things that, you know, I don't really need to stay here any longer. I feel it's kind of, you know, when I worked at Wall Street English, you know, I worked my way up to working at Wall Street English and working at an international company, you know, and that would have gave me the ability to actually kind of work anywhere that a Wall Street English was located, and that would have gave me a lot more sort of value, or at least it would have, you know, given me a lot more opportunities. But that got sabotaged, you know. Clearly that was sabotage, and, you know, Li Xing was a part of that. Just kind of all to get me to stay in China, really. So it's not something I'm particularly, you know, I don't feel I'm making out from that deal. I don't feel like, at this point, I don't feel like I'm really, you know, gaining anything. So staying here is under contention, you know, a serious contention at this point, because I would have had the ability to, say, be teaching in Italy, or be teaching in, you know, in Europe at this point, rather than being stuck in China. You know, it was quite obvious I went from Wall Street to just working for Chinese companies, and that sort of kind of has, you know, not permitted my value to be, you know, to be exchanged, and that's problematic for me at this point. So we'll see what happens. Two people doing the cleanup in this development, and they had miserable looks on their faces.